So he began putting together a wagon convoy, appointed a man to lead it named William Gordon Cook. Now, Cook was the last commanding officer of the standing Texan army when it existed. He'd obtained that position with zero military education or prior service before the Revolution. Rather, he'd been a pharmacist from Virginia. The 1800s version of a pharmacist, meaning he was a coke and heroin dealer.
Potions, cocaine, things of that nature.
Yeehaw!
If only MPC 3000 existed, he could have been writing UGK lyrics.
No, I'm just liking the idea that the average Texan in 1840 is more fucked up on like proto-fentanyl than today.
Texan merchants joined the convoy without hesitation and packed what amounted to be hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of goods on it so they could sell it in Santa Fe. But that wouldn't be all. Since Texas had reverted back to a volunteer army, Lamar called up volunteers to join. Technically, at least according to him, this was not a military invasion. These guys would simply be needed to protect the convoy. Congress approved, and somehow the volunteer force ballooned up to 321 men, including an entire company of artillery. For protection.
Yeah, the artillery from the country that couldn't smell metal, so they're literally just throwing big rocks.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It helps when you steal all your shit from Mexico.
Well, yeah, but also you made this point. I mean, the fact that they had to disband their regular army because they didn't have any funds. It's like we haven't invented the car yet. We don't even have the sort of like image of a car in our minds, and yet you've managed to strip out your own catalytic converter somehow.
Yeah, we invented it so we could steal it. There must have been Armenians in Texas.
Okay, just in case Joe's surname is Kasabian, he's allowed to make that joke. All right.
He also
many
knows
of you
how to
don't
steal
know
a
the show,
catalytic converter.
apparently.
They made me say it. Don't believe them.
I'm just doing the disclaimers because otherwise people might think that we have something against Armenians. Like you do, but you have a reason.
Yeah, I was raised by one. Now, they would all be under the command of a guy named Hugh McLeod, one of the few professional... Yeah, let that one soak in. He was one of the few professionally educated military officers in Texas, even if that professional military education was finishing dead fucking last in his class at West Point. Congratulations, you're a general now. Now, as 21 wagons of goods and hundreds of men gathered in Fort Kenny, dudes just started showing up late. Also, Fort Kenny today is the town of Round Rock, where I had the misfortune of living for quite some time. This is a nothing town. It's just a huge highway with an outlet mall. Most of Texas towns are just huge highways with outlet malls. So I was trying to find something more interesting to tell you all about Round Rock, and then I found something that I'm sure nobody in here is going to enjoy. In 2018, they host the U.S. Quidditch World Cup.
Oh.
Yeah!
So that's technically y'all's fault.
Yeah, you did this.
We also did it because we fell for it, but yeah.
Well, Americans only exist because of the British. Thanks.
I would have loved to know.
Another horrible thing that you should have never invented.
What would J.K. Rowling's stereotype of Texans have been, considering the one Irish person in Harry Potter just is constantly blowing stuff up?
Well, the thing is like, you don't have to have a J.K. Rowling name for a Texan, because Texans already name themselves that
I was
way.
going to say, nothing that
the amount of Texans I know who have literally named their kids Texas is more than I can count on my hands. I've met Colts, I've met Texas, I've met Houstons, Austins, numerous kids named after guns and trucks. Like,
yeah, it's crazy.
They did the work for her.
It transcends class too. You can have Reagan, Texas fuck and Reagan, Texas Vanderbilt.
Yeah, that's true. And one of them will probably be governor. This convoy was supposed to leave in May of 1841, but because so many people showed up late, it wouldn't leave until June in Texas. I'm not sure if anybody here has been to Texas and has felt Texas heat, but it's like double what we felt earlier this week. It sucks.
Kind of explains why they didn't want to do anything and why they didn't have an economy.
And I know we're sitting in London right now, and I assume a lot of people maybe aren't aware of the distances we're talking about here, but Round Rock to Santa Fe is 600 miles away of untouched wilderness. There's no roads, barely a dirt track, maybe a couple maps so people might know where they're going, but this is a horrible, horrible distance to cover.
And they've got wooden wagon wheels and really tall horses for some reason.
That's right. And I know you're probably wondering, well, Joe, why did you make sure to point out how far away it is? Because I wanted everybody here to know. Because the people in the convoy did not.
I'm surprised, to be fair, they had even invented wagon wheels at this stage.
Nobody in the convoy even knew where Santa Fe was. They're like, I don't know, it's that way.
Also, I lived in Santa Fe as a kid. Here's another thing that may be lost from context here. Santa Fe is at like 3,000 meters elevation, so they have to go uphill 600 miles.
They got around this little problem of not knowing where the fuck they're going by hiring one single guide that would take them the entire way. And you know, since I pointed that out, that guide is not sticking around. Now, fellas, I have to ask you a pretty obvious question, maybe. How exactly do you pack enough food and water for a trip that you don't know how long it's going to take or how far you're going?
You don't.
You can't really. Faith, robbing people, I don't know.
The convoy didn't even make it out of Round Rock for a week before they ran out of food and water. Then McLeod got sick and had to get sent back to Round Rock to recover. And the convoy waited 2 weeks for him just out of town. So they ran through all of their other new supplies out in the Texas wasteland in the middle of the summer heat. And while they slowly started moving to Santa Fe once he rejoined, they kept having to send men back to Round Rock to get more supplies, which in turn slowed down the supply convoy even more, which again required them to keep going back to Round Rock for supplies.
I can sense a recurring problem going on right now.
Well, they're eventually going to get to the point where they could no longer go back to Round Rock, because a month into the trip, they're at a place called Cross Timbers, 100 miles away and still in central Texas. So by this math in your head, they still have 500 miles to go. Native warriors saw this gang of lost idiots and decided it was too good of a chance to give up. Soon the convoy came under constant, unrelenting hit-and-run attacks. It's unclear when this happens or how, but that single guy they got shot in the face or ran away. Nobody's entirely sure which. And by now, they've once again run low on supplies and they're too far away from Round Rock to keep ferrying back and forth. The only food source they had were oxen, which also happened to be the things pulling the wagons that they had. Whenever they sent parties out to look for game or even water, they got ambushed by warriors, which I call karma. Lost, hungry, and thirsty, they continued to drag themselves forward, eventually getting to a place called the Red River. The convoy rejoiced, because the Red River was the landmark where they knew to turn west to get to Santa Fe. And also, they could get some water from the river. That's the good news. They did get some water. Bad news, that was not the Red River. At all. They were so goddamn lost and clueless that the hundreds of men present had no idea they were actually at the Wichita River, which is 75 miles south of where they thought they would be. But they turned west anyway.
So they're probably going to wind up in not New Mexico, but rather just Mexico.
Well, they just hold that thought.
All right. Sorry. I've seen a map once in my life, so I guess this puts me at an advantage for these guys. But
you know it's bad when my stupid ass can read a map better than they can. There's a reason why I was in a tank.
see, I wasn't sure where this was going. I was like, oh, is this going to be genocide, cannibalism, little mix of both?
I don't want to spoil it for you.
With everyone involved in this story being stupid as fuck, I thought they were going to end up drinking water from like Ass River or something, and like everyone gets like dysentery for 100 miles.
That is coming.
Oh, fuck off.
That you all knew it was coming. Dysentery flows out of this podcast like, well, dysentery flows out of this podcast. That's right.
Yeah,
That's
were a
the
lot
sounds
less.
you make when you have dysentery.
They were a lot less energetic when they were saying that, though. They would weaken a little bit.
Now, since they were nowhere near where they needed to be and nowhere near where anyone traveled by wagon, the open paths and plains that they had soon turned into impassable rocks, gullies, and dense woods. This did not convince them that they were in fact going the wrong way.
It's like a wall of thorns, skull castle. Those are all on the map, right?
The Castle of Doom's a landmark. We have to keep going. Then their water ran out entirely.
Sir, I'm getting the feeling this is not a place of honor.